Hi guys, so I decided to do a YouTube video. What I'm gonna be doing today is changing the chain and sprocket on my 2016 Yamaha R6. So what I have done so far is remove the shift paddle. Most of you guys know it goes right there, and it's pretty easy to take it off. These two bolts were okay to take it off, but even on this one it was pretty easy. So right now what I'm stuck with is, if you see all the way down there, that's a bolt which is pretty hard. It's hard to get in there, but so far I've been able to move maybe like a little bit, because I'm using this Allen key. So I'm gonna be making some clips and show you the whole process, and we'll see how it goes. So stay tuned. Alright, so I've found a technique that's really helping me taking off that stubborn bolt back there. So let me show you. So if I turn, like, I have to apply full force. I don't know how tight that bolt is, and I don't know if the previous owner ever did this before, but if I turn it with my full force, it is turning. Look, it will take me a while, but this is making sure that the bolt is not going to be stripped. It's in place. I hammered it down a little bit and just turning a quarter and taking off the Allen key and put it back in there again. So far it's been really helpful. Alright guys, finally I was able to take off this cover, which goes right there. What I will be doing is, before I put the bike on the rear stand, I will be taking off this bolt. It's actually pretty strong, so I'll be using a breaker or probably an impact wrench. Not wrench, sorry, impact gun. I'll probably try to do it by hand first, because I really don't want to use an impact gun on it, because it's linked directly to the motorcycle motor. And the reason why I didn't put it on the stand, I watched some YouTube videos online, and which apparently said after they took off this bolt, they were pretty exhausted, because it's really hard to take it off once you have jacked up the bike. If you do it beforehand, it's pretty easy. It's on the stand. You can have somebody press the brake lever from the other side, and while they're pressing and holding the brake lever, the rear will be locked, so that gives you the opportunity to, you know, loosen that bolt. This is in neutral right now, because everything you do, the bike has to be in neutral. And before I took off this bolt, I mean this shift paddle, I made sure it was on neutral. So this was pretty easy to lose the bolt. What I used was 30mm impact socket, but when I tied it, I will be using the torque wrench, this one right here. And the key point is, make sure the bike is neutral before even you try to loosen that bolt out, because if you apply force and the tire is not spinning, all the pressure is going to the motor itself. So what I did was put the bike in neutral, put the socket wrench there, and just apply the brake. So I was leaning over on the bike, the left hand was on the brake paddle, and on the right side I just applied, like, probably, like, I would say 60 to 70 foot-pound force, and it came out to be loose pretty easy. So now all I gotta do is just put it in there and just loosen it. It's still tight, but hey, it's coming off. So I gotta use my both hands, but I'll show you the whole process. Alright guys, so I recently got the tire changed about a few weeks ago. This is just dirt, I believe. Yeah. So apparently the dealership used an impact gun or whatever, but this thing is really tight. I use the 32mm impact socket, the same 1/2 inch wrench, but it's still not coming off. I have used full force, even the bike started to move, but this thing is not coming off at all. So what I'm gonna do now is just use an impact gun and see if that's gonna work. I know it will work because I have used these in the car and they work pretty good. So once I have done that, I'll probably show you how I use the impact gun if I can with one hand, and we'll see how it goes. So it finally came loose. I used the impact gun. It's pretty heavy. Once I used it, I couldn't do it with one hand, so I couldn't show you, but it's pretty simple. As soon as this got loose and I saw the impact gun is moving freely, the socket on the impact gun, I just let it go because I don't want to strip the threads on the axle. So what I'm gonna do next is, no, I actually did that actually. I used the Pitbull rear wheel stand, so the bike is jacked up now. And before I lose these bolts to take off the wheel, even take this off, and the axle, what I want to make sure is I can go ahead and grind the head off the chain, because everything is done. Now is the time to change the chain. Cut the chain. Alright, so I was able to grind that link. You see how it's flushed? It's okay if it's completely flushed, and even when you don't see it, you can actually feel it a little bit, and you don't really have to see anything from here, because it's on the back side. You have the same link right there. So once I get together this tool, I will show you how to actually push the pin out. What I'm gonna do right now is put it in there, just like that, and make sure the link that's on the back side, which looks like this, the pin right there, it will go on the rear. Let me focus here, on the rear side here, and the pin is actually going to be pushed out of this thing right here, the braking tip. So make sure before you align it, it's all the way in there flush. You can simply roll it back just like that, and then we'll go away. There you go, it's completely flush now. So again, I have to use my both hands, so let's see how it goes. Right, take out the pin, I wanted to show you guys. In the beginning it was really hard. I felt like the pin is not aligned properly, so I took it out a couple times, realigned it, but it seems like the first two, the push will be really hard, but now let me show you. I hope I can do this. So if I just with single hand turn it, see, you see how it's turning easily. I'm not applying full force, but I gotta put my hands back there so I can actually hold this tool right there, and the pin will come out from the other end. Let me see if I can actually show you the pin coming out. Hopefully it's showing up by now. Right there. So if you guys remember, I showed you the tool, there was like a hole here, and this pin is going to come out from here right there. So a lot of people gave this tool a bad review and said it breaks up the first time or whatever, I guess what really helps is grinding the link right there, so you can actually flush it out and then push it evenly. So the pin is out now. As you can see, it's pretty solid pin, and this is the side I flushed it with the chain. So, and this is how it looks like so far. So right now it's disconnected. So there goes my chain, the old chain. See how dirty that is? Not even dirty, it's just uneven sprocket. Look, this is so pointy, and if I go here, it's breaking apart. So well, this is how you take out the link, and this is what I used. Now I'm gonna just take the chain off just by sliding it over, and before I take, actually, you know what, I'm gonna take off the chain and then take off the rear wheel, and then I'm gonna start with the front socket first. Alright guys, so the chain is off, the rear wheel is off. This is the axle that I took out. It did have some kind of grease on it, not a lot, but I do see a lot of scratches on it. I don't know how that happened, because see, when you go to dealership, they change the tires and put it back in there. I don't know the way they use it. This is the old sprocket. So now I'm going to take off all these 6 bolts. So I'll come back once I have taken this off and that sprocket off and compare with the new one. Okay guys, so this is the old sprocket from the rear wheel, and that's the smaller one in the front, from the front, and these are the new sprocket. They are steel made 520 sprocket. Alright guys, the front sprocket is in now. It's not tied to full spec. I'll do it at the end. Probably just take out the bike from the stand, and once the chain is chain has run through the sprockets, I have riveted the chain, and then I'll go ahead and torque it to the specs. It's not tight because I need to run the chain and then align the chain before I tighten anything else. So I'm gonna go ahead and open the chain and run it through and be right back. Alright guys, so I have the sprocket and chain up now. I ran through the rear sprocket all the way down to the front sprocket. It took me a while because I had to adjust the axle. I technically pushed it all the way in as much as I can and measured the chain. I had to cut off like this much because I know it was gonna lose, and eventually I'll have to adjust the chain again in future. So I don't want to leave like a really big slacking point on here. Right now there's a minimum slack, but once I tighten it and then I adjust the chain, it should be good to go. So I'll go ahead and then rivet the chain using the same tool, and I cut off the actual link with the same tool as well. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Alright guys, so I'm done. I already tightened this bolt up. I just need to put the cover in. And this is the actual rivet, the link that I had to rivet it, and it looks nice now, and it's gonna hold a lot better. So well, there you go, black sprocket, golden chain. My job is done.